Good evening and welcome to the demo on Kongress. Kongress is a web application that determines influential users of the United States Congress. It can be viewed on any device, but today we're seeing it displayed on an iPad. This is the Kongress homepage. At the top of the homepage is the Kongress logo. One of the goals of the application is to increase transparency of the United States Congress by providing a slick and easy-to-use interface for any American voter to use. Kongress utilizes both data mining and information retrieval functions on Twitter data and official congressional voting record data in order to do this. This is a Google-type landing page that enables users to search, and we'll click on the About button to learn more about the application. So after the user searches any keyword to determine using Twitter and congressional voting record data the most influential users, they can view the results in many ways. The results page has 3 different textual results of the query. The first is a list of bills that contain the related search term. The second is a list of tweets that contain the related search term. And the third is a list of congressmen who tweeted the search term in descending order. Next up we have a map page. This utilizes Google Maps to display geographically the results, utilizing a heat map of the tweets or tweeter by congressmen. And note that we're not using the tweet location for this, we're actually using the congressional districts, just because we feel that that means more to the user. Next up we have a visualization page. This does not utilize the user query, this actually does congressional voting record wide. It displays using Euclidean distance and cosine similarity, the similarity among congressional voting records for each congressman. And last we have the influence page, which is based on the user query, and the people that follow congressmen on Twitter could potentially have influence on congressional voting activity. So let's do our first query. We're going to query for Hurricane Sandy, a major hurricane that happened in fall 2012. And we'll hit the search button. We'll actually look at the map page first. Take a minute to load up here. Okay, so what you're looking at is results of Twitter data overlaid on congressional district map. So the markers actually represent if a congressman has tweeted about the word Hurricane Sandy at all, they get a marker. So in order to actually get a better idea of the density of tweets, how many times they've tweeted about Hurricane Sandy, we'll clear the marker data. So what's displayed now is actually the tweeters and how often they've tweeted about the the Hurricane Sandy. And we can swap between the tweets, the actual tweets themselves, and the tweeters to get an even more concentrated density of who's tweeting. So this actually makes sense because those markers at the beginning were pretty scattered about the United States. Most congressmen seem to tweet about Hurricane Sandy at least once, but the people who are frequently tweeting about it are those that are in the affected region, and that's the North Atlantic coastline. So we'll swap over to the results page. And first up we see the bills that contain the search word Hurricane Sandy. We see general information such as the title of the bill, subject of the bill, the sponsor of the bill, and their location, ID, and the status. Note that these are not all past bills that are displayed. Most of the status are just referred. So the default, as you can see, is 10 displayed out of the 148 that do contain it. We can increase that number by going to the plus button and hitting display. Just loading up here. So now we can actually see additional results. Another thing that the user can do is click on an individual bill and view additional information about that bill, such as the text summary that contains all the information about the bill. Next up is the tweets page. So we'll see the first 25 tweets that contain the search word Hurricane Sandy out of the 3,729 tweets that do. We'll see congressmen's names, pictures, parties, their number of followers, which gives the user an idea about the influence they have, the number of people they're reaching with their tweets. We also see geographically their locations: West Virginia, New York, West Virginia. Those are some of the top ones displayed here. And next up is the tweeters page. So here we see the frequency of tweets. So Frank Pallone is the top tweeter of the words Hurricane Sandy. He tweeted about them 291 times. Senator Gillibrand, also from the location of the storm, New York, tweeted about it 169 times. Okay, let's do another query. We're going to search for the word budget. Hot topic for these congressmen. Can't seem to pass one very often. So what we'll notice for this query is that the top tweeters of the word budget were some of the known influential people for budget. For example, Senator Sanders is actually on the Congressional Budget Committee, and he's the top tweeter of the word budget. He's tweeted about it 760 times. And second, Paul Ryan, he's actually proposed a large budget plan in the last year, so he's also a top tweeter. So this makes sense in terms of influential users of using Twitter data and congressional voting record data. Next we're going to search the word gun. And we're actually going to go over to the influence page. So, based on the user query, the people that congressmen follow on Twitter could potentially have an influence on their voting activity. So we've got 4 pages listed: yes, no, not voting, and present. Those are common congressional votes. And so if we've iterated through all the congressional bills that contain the queried word gun, and we've iterated through all of the congressmen's friends on Twitter and iterated through each of the voting types, and we've given a point for each person who is being followed by someone in Congress who has a yay vote that contains the word gun. You get a point. So this is in order to determine influential non-congressional Twitter people who might have effects on congressional votes. So, for example, the yays, this is a Twitter user ID, and they count the number of congressmen who are following this person who have voted yes. And we can also see it for no. And I think in the PowerPoint presentation we'll get a better idea about who these Twitter users are. Okay, we're going to go to the visualization page next. So, visualization 1, it's kind of an interesting visualization. It shows a mixed matching plot of Euclidean distance among the congressional voting records. So this is not for the specified query, this is among all congressional voting records. So you can kind of see some clusters of congressmen who may be similar based on their voting records. Each node is a congressional ID, known as the Thomas ID. It's alphanumeric ID. And these are can kind of pan around there. The second visualization is actually a histogram of cosine similarity for each of all the voting records for the congressman. And so this is not just for votes on bills, this is for votes on motions and questions and amendments. So we can see that actually congressional votes on the whole are pretty similar, but this is across all votes, not just important votes such as votes on actual bills. Okay, next up we'll just do a quick search on pro-life. And we'll see results for tweets, but not for bills. So we have to notice that Twitter information will contain informal opinions on topics such as pro-life or pro-choice, but in order to actually get bills that relate to this subject, we'll have to search for the word abortion. And then we'll get results for bills, tweets, and tweeters. Okay, lastly, we've actually embedded a video for some education about congressional bills. Such a Touch has limited viewing options so it doesn't allow non-mobile devices to view videos, so actually watch it on my Mac.
Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill. Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience.
Thanks, I hope you enjoyed our presentation.